Sorry I didn't get to read none last night, but I'm going to get back on it tonight. We are in Judges 13, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hands of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manasseh, and his wife was barren and bare not. In other words, she didn't have any children. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now, therefore, beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine, nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come upon his head. For for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall reign and deliver Israel out of the hands of the Philistine. This is Simeon, or not Simeon, Samson. And the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked not whence he was, neither told he me his name. And he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of death. And Manasseh entreated the Lord and said, O my Lord, let the man of God which thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we should do to the child that shall be born. And God hearkened unto the voice of Manasseh, and the angel of God came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But I'm not saying the names right, I'm going to tell you now. Manasseh, her husband, was not with her, and the woman made haste and ran, and showed her husband, and said unto him, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that cometh unto me the other day. And Manasseh arose and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him, Art thou the man that speaketh unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manasseh said, Now let thy words come to pass. Now shall we order the child, and shall we do unto him? And the angel of the Lord said unto Manasseh, Of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. She may not eat anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I command her, let her observe. And Manasseh said unto the angel of the Lord, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. And the angel of the Lord said unto Manasseh, Though thou do detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wont offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto the Lord. For Manasseh knew not that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manasseh said unto the angel of the Lord, What is thy name? That when they say, Come to pass, that we may do thee honor. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret? So he has a secret name. Manasseh took a kid with a meat offering, and offered it upon the rock unto the Lord. And the angel did wondrously, and Manasseh and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flames went up towards heaven from off the altar, that the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manasseh and his wife looked on it, and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of the Lord did no more appear to Mahanahan and his wife. When Mahanahan knew that he was an angel of the Lord, and Mahanahan said unto his wife, We shall surely die, because we have seen God. But his wife said unto him, If the Lord were pleased to kill us, we would not have received a burnt offering and a meat offering at our hands. Neither would he have showed us all these things, nor would at this time have told us such things as these. And the woman bore a son, and called his name Simeon. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to move him at times in the camp of Dan, between Zorah and Eshahal. All right, now we're on 14. And Simeon went down to Timnath, and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and mother, and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there neither a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistine? And Simeon said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord, that he sought an occasion against the Philistines, for at the time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. Then went Simeon down, and his father and mother, to Tamoth, and came to the vineyard of Timnath, and behold, a young lion warred against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Simeon well. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hand, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told them not that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. So his father went down unto the woman, and Simeon made there a feast, for so used the young man to do. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Simeon said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If you can certainly declare it me within 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment. But if you cannot declare it me, then ye shall give me 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may bear it. And he said unto them, Out of the eater come forth meat, out of the strong come forth sweetness. And they could not 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day, that they said unto Simeon's wife, Intents thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Simeon's wife wept before him, and said, Thou doest but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it to me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it to my father nor my mother, and shall I tell thee? And she wept before him 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the seventh day that he told her, because she laid sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. You know what? That is sad. You're on a feast because you got married. And is she going to sit there and cry about the riddle? Simeon should say, hey man, I can't handle this. 18. And the men of the city said unto him, on the seventh day before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, if you had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. Did you hear what he called her? A heifer. Called her a heifer. Oh. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoils, and gave change of raiment unto them which expound the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house, and Simeon's wife gave him to his compassion, whom he has used as his friend. We are on 15. I'm going to try to read 15 and 16 too. But it came to pass within a whole after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Simeon visited his wife with a kid. And he said, I will go in to my wife into the chamber. But her father would not suffer him to go in. And after her father said, I verily thought that thou hast utterly hated her. Therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. And Simeon said concerning them, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. And Simeon went and caught 300 foxes, and took firebands, and turned tail to tail, and put a fireband in the midst between the two tails. Oh my goodness. That is not cool at all. In other words, he put like firecrackers, I believe is what you would call them, because of fire bands. And he tied 2 foxes' tails together with them. Now when he had set the bands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines, and burned up both the stalk, also the standing corn, with the vineyard and the olives. And when the Philistines said, who hath done this? And they answered, Simeon, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines come up and burnt her and her father with fire. Now Simeon said unto them, though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. And he smote them hip and thigh with great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock of Etam. I'm letting that car go by. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah, and spread themselves in Lehi. And the man of Judah said, why are ye come up against us? And they answered, to bind Simeon we are come up, to do him as he had done to us. Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock Etam, and said to Simeon, knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What is this that thou hast done unto us? And he said unto them, as they did unto me, so I have done unto them. And they said unto him, we are come down to bind thee, and that we may deliver thee into the hands of the Philistines. And Simeon said unto them, swear unto me that you will not fall upon me yourselves. And they spoke unto him, saying, no, but we will bind thee fast, and deliver thee into their hands. But surely we will not kill thee, that thou bound him with 2 new cords, and brought him up from the rock. And when he came to Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arm became as flax, that it was burnt with fire, and his bounds loosened from off his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Simeon said, with a jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with a jaw of an ass have I slain 1,000 men. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called that place Ramath Lehi. And he was sore earnest, and called the Lord, and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hands of thy servant, and now shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised. But God cleaved an hollow place that was in the jaw, and where the water came thereout. And when he had drank, the spirit came again, and he revived. Therefore he called the name of En Hakor, which is in Lehi unto this day. And the judges of Israel in the days of the Philistine were 20 years. All right, now this is chapter 16. Then went Simeon to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and went unto her. And it was told the Gazite, saying, Simeon is come thither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and there quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Simeon lay till midnight, and arose at night, and took the doors of the gate of the city, and 2 posts, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up unto the top of a hill that is before Hedron. And it came to pass afterwards that he loved a woman in the valley of Sochor, whose name is Delilah. And the Lord of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said unto Simeon, Tell me, I pray thee, where is thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mayest be bound to afflict thee. And Simeon said unto her, If thy bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then I shall be weak, and be as another man. And the lords, this is a small L, of the Philistines, brought up her 7 green withs, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there arose a lion in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Simeon. And he broke the withs with a thread of tow his broken when it touches the fire, so his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Simeon, Behold, thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mayest be bound. Boy, I'm telling you what, he most definitely gets some stupid women. And he's stupid for letting it happen. And he said unto her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that never occupied, then I will be weak, and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new rope and bound him therein, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were lie in wait a binding the chamber, and he broke them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Simeon, Hitherto thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me wherein thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, If thou weavest the 7 locks of my heads with the web. And she fastened it with pins, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. Then and he awoke out of his sleep, and went away with the pins of the beam, and with the web. And she said unto him, How canst thou say, I love thee? Then thine heart is not with me. Well, your heart ain't with him either. Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him dearly with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was fastened unto death. Oh, that sweet little words. 17. And he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There has not came a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak, and be like another man. And Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, and sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hands. And she made him sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man, and caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. You know how they're called dreads today. That's what he had, was dreads. And see 20. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Simeon. And he awoke out of his sleep, and said, I will go out as the other times before, and shake myself. And he was not that the Lord was departed from him, but the Philistine took him, and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Giza, and bound him with the feathers of brass, fitters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. And the lords of the Philistine gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice. For they said, Our God hath delivered Simeon, our enemy, into our hand. No, it was, no, I don't think so. Okay, 24. And when the people saw him, they praised their God. For they said, Our God had delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, Call for Samson, that he may make a sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport. And they set him before the pillars. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, Suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women, that behold, while Simeon made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord, and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may at once avenge all the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the two middle pillars upon the house stood, and on which it was borne up of the one with the right hand, and of the other with the left. And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords, and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they that which he slew in his life. And then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him, and brought him up and buried him between Zoar and Eshtal in the barren place of Mahon his father, and he judged Israel 20 years. All right, now we're on chapter 17, and we'll look at it tomorrow. I'm glad we got the whole thing in here, because that was a good story. I like trying to put all the stories together. All right, we'll see you next time. Hugs and kisses.